Sylwen Driftmist Fogspire. The coral gardens of Xylos were my laboratory, the swirling mists my ink. I am Sylwen Fogspire, though most know me as Driftmist. For generations, my family has been the mistweavers of Xylos, coaxing illusions from the fog, shielding our kingdom. Life was predictable, until the silt runners came. They aren't pirates, not exactly. They're scavengers obsessed with the sunstone, a relic said to control the tides and held sacred by Xylos. Old Man Hemlock, the royal cartographer, burst into my workshop, babbling about a distorted mist signature near the sunken grotto, the relic's resting place. He feared they'd found a way to bypass the natural defenses, and my skills were needed immediately. This wasn't just a raid, it felt different, ominous. The grotto was shrouded in an unnatural stillness. The coral glowed faintly, and the familiar scent of brine was replaced with something acrid metallic. I wove a veil of mist, masking our approach, Hemlock and myself, but the silt runners weren't fooled for long. They moved with a disturbing efficiency, their ships crafted from salvaged coral and powered by some dark alchemy. They weren't after gold or jewels. They were focused solely on the sunstone chamber. I unleashed a series of illusions, phantom krakens, shifting currents, walls of impenetrable fog, but their leader, a hulking figure known only as the Collector, simply laughed. He carried a device that dissolved my mist, revealing our position with terrifying ease. I realized then they hadn't just found a way around my illusions, they'd developed a countermeasure. The stakes just skyrocketed. The sunstone's protection was failing. We reached the sunstone chamber just as the Collector's crew began to pry the relic from its pedestal. The chamber pulsed with energy, and the air crackled with power. Hemlock urged me to retreat, to warn the Queen, but I couldn't. This wasn't about protecting Xylos anymore. It was about preventing the Collector from unleashing whatever dark purpose he had for the sunstone. I channeled all my energy, weaving the densest, most complex illusion I'd ever created. A phantom coral reef, teeming with bioluminescent creatures, designed to overload their senses and disorient them. It worked for a moment, but the Collector activated a device that fractured the illusion, sending shards of mist exploding outwards. He then lunged for the sunstone. I threw myself in front of him, and with a desperate surge of power, I attempted to bind him in a vortex of swirling fog. He countered with a blast of dark energy that shattered my control and threw me against the chamber wall. The sunstone was his. The Collector vanished with the sunstone, leaving behind only the wreckage of the chamber and a chilling silence. News reached the Queen quickly. Panic gripped Xylos. The tides began to behave erratically, and the coral gardens started to wither. I was blamed, of course, accused of failing to protect the relic, of being too reckless. Stripped of my title, banished from the coral kingdoms. But my concern wasn't my reputation, it was the fate of Xylos. I knew the Collector wasn't interested in controlling the tides for power, but for something far more sinister. Old Man Hemlock, risking his own life, smuggled me a fragment of a map recovered from one of the silt runner vessels. It indicated their destination, the Obsidian Trench, a place of ancient, forbidden magic. A place where even the mist fears to tread. I have to follow them, even if it means facing my greatest fears alone. The Obsidian Trench is a graveyard of ships and shattered dreams. The water is black and cold, and the air hangs heavy with a sense of dread. I found the Collector's fortress, a monstrous structure built from the bones of leviathans and powered by the stolen sunstone. He wasn't trying to control the tides, he was trying to stop them. To plunge Xylos into a perpetual winter. He believes the coral kingdoms are a blight, a corruption of the natural order. He's using the sunstone to trigger a cataclysmic event, a cleansing of the oceans. I infiltrated the fortress, but I was discovered, cornered. He showed me his ultimate weapon, a device that amplifies the sunstone's power, capable of freezing the entire ocean. He activated it. I tried to counter with my mist to create a shield, but it was useless. The cold is all-consuming. My powers are fading. The coral gardens, my home, are already turning to ice. My greatest fear, the destruction of Xylos, has come true.